320 men died in a single explosion. The Navy blamed the black sailors, and when the survivors refused to return to the same dangerous conditions, they were put on trial for mutiny. Have you ever heard the story of the Port Chicago Mutiny? July 17, 1944. Port Chicago Naval Magazine, California. Black enlisted sailors, assigned to the most dangerous labor on the base, were loading ammunition onto ships bound for the Pacific theater of World War II. They had received little to no training on how to safely handle the explosives. Their white officers were known to place bets on which crew could load the fastest, creating competitive pressure that made safe handling nearly impossible. At 10:18 p.m., 2 ships exploded simultaneously in one of the largest non-nuclear explosions on American soil during World War II. The blast killed 320 men instantly, 202 of them black enlisted sailors. It shattered windows 35 miles away. 1 month later, after the site was cleared, 258 survivors were ordered back to load ammunition under the same conditions. 50 refused. They cited the same dangerous environment, the lack of training, and the treatment of their fellow sailors as justification. The Navy called it mutiny. 50 black sailors were court-martialed. Thurgood Marshall, then a lawyer for the NAACP, attended the trial and called it a gross miscarriage of justice. He noted that no white officers faced charges despite the dangerous conditions they had created and supervised. All 50 were convicted. Sentences ranged from 8 to 12 years at hard labor. The convictions were eventually reduced, and most men were released by 1946. But none received full pardons. In 1994, the Navy quietly upgraded the discharge status of the 50 sailors. In 1999, President Clinton granted a full pardon to Freddie Meeks, the only surviving sailor. And this is why this story matters. The Port Chicago disaster directly accelerated the desegregation of the U.S. military. The blatant racial inequality on display, black sailors doing the most dangerous work with no training, then prosecuted when they refused to die again, made the injustice undeniable. President Truman desegregated the military by executive order in 1948. They died loading weapons for a country that wouldn't treat them as equals. The survivors who refused to die twice were put on trial. Follow us to uncover more hidden black stories. Comment if you'd like to hear more about the Port Chicago Mutiny, or the moments when black soldiers and sailors said enough and changed the course of military history. We don't glorify injustice, we reveal truth, so history can't repeat itself.